In our information-saturated world, we aspire for our children to excel as problem solvers. Welcome to Epic Mom Life. I am your host, Kara Peterson. This show is sponsored by The Possum's Tale, a unique book adventure for your 6 to 12-year-old child. Let's jump into today's show. We are going to empower our children to think critically, creatively, and courageously. How are we going to do this? Teach your child to be a problem solver. Problem solving is a crucial skill that our children really need to learn. We want them to be able to think critically, to develop these problem solving strategies, and to become adept at navigating any challenge that they may face in life. Here are 7 steps to teaching your child to be a fabulous problem solver. 1. Encourage curiosity and exploration. It is important to encourage your child's natural curiosity. They want to explore the world around them. They love asking questions. Provide opportunities for new discovery so your child will develop a love of learning and willingness to take risks and try new things. This will help them become more comfortable with exploring and experimenting so that they will be better equipped to tackle problems and find solutions. Activities to encourage curiosity and exploration. Science experiments. They will be transforming abstract concepts into the tangible. Hands-on experiences, fostering a deeper understanding of the natural world. Nature walks. It is more than just walking around outside. By providing a dynamic and unstructured environment, you are encouraging your children to observe, question, and problem solve in response to the ever-changing natural elements. When you're outside, and I'm just going to use the example of a 3-year-old, when you go to a park, it's completely unstructured, right? You don't have any control of the environment. So you think you and your child are going from point A to point B at the park. And you're walking, and if you've ever been with a 3-year-old, you're walking along and you're looking at this around here, and your child's like, "Mom, look, there's a dead bug, and there's these other bugs." Well, all of a sudden, they're going to ask and wonder why all these other bugs are like attacking this big bug, and what it could be is the ants or these others are carrying off the parts. But it would be a whole thing about the cycle of life and all of this, and this may be too much for a 3-year-old, but that's the thing that came to my mind. But it happens. So you would be responding to ever-changing stimuli, and all of these things would be coming up. And if your children are asking questions, that's a good thing. A lot of parents are like, "Oh my heck, my kids are always asking why." You want children to be asking why. Curiosity is a great thing. Outdoor scavenger hunts. Your child is actively engaging with the outdoors. Oh my gosh, are those just not the magic words for every single parent whose child likes the internet? The hunt also fosters problem-solving skills as children strategize, observe details, and often work collaboratively, which gives them a sense of adventure and curiosity in nature. These skills actually check a whole bunch of boxes in a whole bunch of other different skills that I've talked about in a lot of my videos. Wonder wall. I love this. Establish a wonder wall or a question board. I just happen to like the double alliteration in the wonder wall, but where children can write down their questions and ideas. The why game. Play the why game. What you do is you take turns asking and answering why questions about a particular topic. This game helps children explore ideas and encourages them to dive deeper into their thinking. So when you ask a question like, "Why does the bird have the babies in the nest and fly away?" Okay, because the babies are left unguarded, so why would it fly away? Well, then you can say, well, why, you could go down that path of, and I don't know how to say it with a why right now because I haven't thought this out. I'm just doing this on the fly. But how are the babies going to eat? Well, how does the mom know when to leave, or that you could bring in predators, or you could bring in all kinds of things. If you're really in this, you could talk about how the feeding processes that a mom does with the bird, because the baby birds aren't very developed. There's a whole bunch you could go on this why process. So when you continually ask why, you can get to some really amazing processes and questions and topics, and it can go pretty far. 2, teach critical thinking skills. In order for children to be great problem solvers, they must be effective critical thinkers. That's why a lot of times you'll see this hand in hand. I'll put a link to it, but I just recently did a video on, in an AI world, should we still be teaching our kids to learn how to write? And I talked about the benefits of writing, and critical thinking was linked with problem solving, because when you're a good critical thinker, you become, that's one of the steps to becoming, it's kind of like a natural thing. You know, you become a good problem solver. So this involves analyzing information, evaluating arguments, and making informed decisions. These 3 steps are all components in step 5 in social emotional learning, responsible decision making. I'll have a link for that because that's like one of my favorite steps. Before we get to activities for critical thinking skills, I have some quick tips for you to teach critical thinking skills. So I don't do tips for all of these, but some of them, I think that they're pretty important. Even though I did a whole article on critical thinking skills, I still really want to just kind of refresh your memory. So again, go back to the other vlog or the podcast or however you like to get your information, but just to do it really quickly. 1, ask open-ended questions. 2, encourage friendly debate. 3, introduce logical reasoning. 4, and I'm skipping through all of these because these are just tips to get you started. Expose children to diverse perspectives. Now, I am going to go into this a little bit more elaborately because right now, that's like a hot topic and it's become political. That is not what this is meant to do. This is only intended to allow your child to see that there's more to the world than their backyard. There are more people, more traditions, more experiences than in your child's inner circle. And when your child sees the other, they're better able to understand. I didn't say agree with, I didn't say anything, but part of learning, part of working in groups, part of critical thinking, problem solving, everything is communication skills. And they're better able to communicate if they understand different viewpoints. So, this is not political, and I'm not writing either side. It's just become political in today's day and age. Okay, activities that help teach critical thinking skills. Debate. I love debate, but I love friendly debate. Controversial debate makes me scared. And it goes further than saying how you feel about a topic. That's not debate. Children must learn to evaluate evidence and form reasoned opinions, but also develop the crucial skill of understanding and respecting other viewpoints. Because if they actually are in a formal debate, if you ever took debate, you actually had to research the other person's arguments so that you could then see if those arguments had merit and how you would counter argue those. So you were delving deeply into counter arguments as well. So you're hearing both sides. Media analysis. Oh boy, do I love this one. It encourages them to question information sources, discern biases, and evaluate the credibility of content. Children develop a heightened awareness of persuasive techniques and learn to critically analyze sources so they can make informed decisions. Problem-solving workshops. Have you ever heard of these? I'm going to be doing a whole thing on these probably in June or July. I'm really excited about these because these are not as widely known. Children get hands-on experiences that require analysis, creative thinking, and the application of logical strategies to solve real-world challenges. Alternative pathways. Present children with the simple task, I kind of say that lightly and tongue-in-cheek, and encourage them to identify alternate ways of achieving the desired outcome. Fostering Creative and Flexible Thinking. A fabulous book. And this seems like a really young book, but this is a great book for teenagers. I, as an adult, and I'm a pretty old adult, loved this book. And I just found this book probably 2 months ago. The name of it is Which One Doesn't Belong? Playing with Shapes. So you're going to look at this and you're going to say, this is totally for 4-year-olds. And it's in the little kids section at the library. It's by Christopher Danielson. But what it does is you open like a page like this, right? And you have a shape, a shape, a shape, a shape. And if you ever remember I think it was Sesame Street, one of these things is not like the other. One of these things just doesn't belong. And then you have to say which one doesn't belong. The key is all of them could be picked, meaning 3 of them all belong together, and 1 of them all doesn't belong. Your child just has to tell you why they picked that one. So your child will be right if they can justify their answer. This is a fabulous book for teaching this. I recommend every single homeschool library, every single classroom, everybody does this, because it's a mind-blowing way of looking at, wow, you can totally find another answer. And I was right, but so are you. Isn't that powerful in today's world? So are you. Coding challenges. Introduce coding games or platforms where children have to solve programming problems by breaking them down into smaller code snippets. 3. Foster creativity and imagination. It seems most children initially have this, yet we, society, the educational system, manners, who knows what, we grow this creativity and imagination right out of them. By fostering these qualities in children, we can equip them with the ability to think outside of the box and come up with innovative solutions to difficult problems. Activities that encourage creativity and imagination encourage storytelling. Listen to your child's stories and ask them to elaborate on their characters, settings, plot twists, whatever. These stories your child creates helps to expand their cognitive abilities and encourages innovative thinking. Provide open-ended materials. A variety of art supplies with no instructions allows your child to just freely express themselves and explore different ideas. Read books together, even when they are older. Sometimes your child is interested and just wants to discuss a story, or a story that they cannot read or they just don't want to read, and I have a link to how to get your child to love reading in the notes. Reading stories with your child helps your child to better visualize and empathize. Allow time for daydreaming. Seriously, who has the time for random thoughts anymore? Daydreaming is a really important part of the creative process. Your child may come up with some of their best ideas when their minds are wandering and are not actively trying to solve a problem. Creative writing. You can use writing prompts. There's a link in the notes. To encourage your child to write stories or poems, allowing them to come up with unique characters, settings, or those plot twists. 4. Develop communication skills. When children can express their thoughts and ideas clearly, they are better able to collaborate with others and find solutions to complex challenges. Tips for teaching good communication skills. 1. Teach them how to be good listeners. 2. They need to learn how to ask questions, paraphrase others, and show that they are actively listening. I think that the active listening is so important that it is one of my social emotional learning lessons that I have. So I have all these lesson plans that I have done for my book, and I have a whole separate one grouping that are the social emotional learning lessons. And there's a 3-part or 4-part series in 2nd grade, and one of them is all about how to be a good listener. And I'll have a link for that in the notes. 3, nonverbal communication. Help develop strong nonverbal communication skills. And there's another link that's in the notes, such as tone of voice, eye contact, and body language. 4, constructive feedback. I want to emphasize constructive. When children receive constructive feedback, they learn to understand that the impact of their words and actions on others and how those are communicated can be done more effectively. Activities to help your child develop better communication skills. Role-playing games. This activity promotes active listening and effective communication as they interact with others in their character. Team building exercises. Organize team-based activities that require children to work together and achieve a common goal. Debates and discussions. Age-appropriate topics where children can express and defend their opinions, listen to different perspectives, and articulate their thoughts coherently are fabulous for teaching communication skills. And I have a whole bunch of topics on conversation skills in the notes. Story prediction. Read a story or present a situation to children and ask them to predict potential problems or conflicts that may occur later in the storyline. This is key in how they are able to communicate what they are thinking and why. 5. Promote collaboration and teamwork. By promoting collaboration and teamwork in children, we can help them develop the ability to work with others and work towards a common goal. They share ideas and they build strong relationships. These skills are one of the many components of problem solving. Activities to encourage collaboration and teamwork. Group artwork. Create a mural or other type of large-scale art project. Build a fort. I love this one. Having children get together to create a fort works on these skills, yet building a fort is like so natural. It's like peanut butter and jelly, right? It's so natural for kids. But if you watch them, think about the questions they're asking. Should it be inside or outside? What will we be using for walls? Who gets to come inside our fort? This is probably one of my favorite collaboration ideas for children through age 10. Camping trip. Yes, that family camping trip is a team effort. Have your child be part of your family's team deciding where to go, where to stop, what to take, what to eat, etc. Team sports. Children learn a lot when they play a team sport. There are so many skills that are learned. Cooperation, communication, responsibility, sportsmanship, and quick thinking, just to name a few. Group games. Do you remember freeze tag or tug of war? There's so many examples, but those are what's coming to mind. When children play group games together, they learn to work and strategize as a unit instead of as an individual. 6, emphasize problem-solving strategies. By emphasizing problem-solving strategies, parents can empower children to take obstacles with confidence and resilience. Resilience is key. There's a link to that in the notes as well. Here are some tips to encourage kids to develop their problem-solving abilities. Break down complex problems into smaller, manageable parts. Encourage them to brainstorm possible solutions. Teach them to think about each solution based on its possible effectiveness and practicality. Practice active listening and empathy when working through problems together. Activities to encourage problem-solving strategies. Provide autonomy. This is really hard as a parent, but you're going to offer independence and autonomy in problem-solving tasks. Let your children make decisions, explore solutions, and learn from their outcomes as much as you possibly can. Strength awareness. Help children identify their strengths and interests. Encourage them to leverage these strengths to tackle problems, fostering a sense of ownership and confidence in their abilities. Problem ownership contract. Create a problem ownership contract or agreement with the child, emphasizing their role in taking responsibility for identifying and working towards solutions. This contract may actually help you so that you can give them more autonomy. So if you created this contract so that it kind of set it up, so the steps that your child would go through and they would check them off, and then it got to, I'm really stumped and I really want mom's help or dad's help. And in this contract, now that I've gone through these steps, this is where I go to mom for help. And so that you feel like, yeah, I did have them help, but now I can step in. That actually may alleviate your mind as well. Goal setting. Help children set goals, and I have a link for setting goals, and guide them in creating action plans to achieve these goals. Encourage them to evaluate their progress regularly. Critical thinking games. Play strategy-based board games or online games that require children to anticipate problems and develop solutions before they arise, fostering their ability to think ahead. We play so many games at our house that I have another link in the notes that will show you all of the games we've played, and there's different ages that these apply to, like ones that are better for certain ages. But we have collaborative games that are problem-solving, critical thinking games for kids as early as 4 years old. Building block challenge. Provide children with building blocks and challenge them to build a specific structure or solve a problem using those blocks. This activity fosters creativity and the ability to find unique solutions to challenges. Puzzle play. I love puzzles. Provide children with puzzles of varying complexity and encourage them to break down the problem by focusing on one piece or section at a time. I love puzzles so much that I actually delved into the research of puzzles and any benefits. And so I actually have 2 articles on puzzles, different kinds of puzzles you can give your kids, and the benefit of puzzles, and I'll have both of those links in the notes as well. Artistic I can't say this word. Like you're going to improv with artist improv. I'm going to say it that way. I love this one, but you're going to want to pay really close attention to this because it's not what you think. You're going to engage your children in the improvisation of art activities, such as drawing, but they can't lift the pencil. So this will stimulate creative thinking and find innovative solutions. That was really tricky. 7, provide opportunities for real-world applications. This is one of the most effective ways to teach children how to solve problems. Provide them with opportunities to apply their skills in the real world. Activities to engage learning problem-solving skills through real-world application include money management simulations. Create simulated scenarios where children have to manage a budget, making purchasing decisions or savings for specific goals. This last Christmas, I did a whole thing on saving money for Christmas for kids, setting up your budget for Christmas, and I'll include a link for that. Escape room challenges. Yeah, I know this is more fun and not as real world, but I didn't know exactly where to put this, and so I put it here. So design an age-appropriate escape room, puzzle, or challenge that requires children to work together to solve a series of clues and tasks within a time limit. So you can make these escape rooms more real-world based, and then I don't feel like I cheated. Inventor's Workshop. Encourage children to identify specific problems society has or gadgets we need. They can then create the solution, whether on paper, verbally, or tinker with everyday materials to solve them or create gadgets. So this is interesting because my oldest child, he wanted to be an engineer and he was a total thinker. He was like my philosopher. And one of my biggest guilt issues when my kids were younger was diapers. So when my oldest one, I had the diaper service. They drop off the diapers, but they use so many chemicals to clean those diapers. I was like, well, are we really getting ahead? And if I'd moved to Arizona and done that, we'd use so much water. In Arizona, we don't have a lot of water. So that one wasn't really a great solution. Then I quickly learned that kids have blowouts, and cloth diapers and blowouts are a really messy thing. So I really liked disposable diapers. So then you have the guilt of the fact that the disposable diaper lives in my landfill forever and ever and ever and ever. So I talked to him and I was like, okay, so you are so smart and you want to be an engineer. I want you to create the diaper that is on the go, that is great with blowouts, and that I can throw away. That's what I want. So I had come up with the object because this was something on my heart. But a lot of people assume that it's already been created. If you ask your kids, what hasn't been created yet, I bet you they can come up with something. Or you might be able to come up with something. And see if they can tinker or write or formulate or whatever. Environmental conservation activities. So my diaper thing kind of fits for this one too. but engage children in initiatives like cleaning up local parks or planting trees or allowing them to practice environmental stewardship and apply their knowledge to real-world scenarios. Recipe challenge. I love to cook, and I really love food. So ask children to follow a recipe and break it down into smaller steps, such as gathering ingredients, measuring, and following instructions in order to prepare a dish. If your children are a lot older, you can take that challenge into, how would I create this recipe? Because you kids, like, you're spending the night over at Dad's and you're doing this or you're going here or whatever. How am I going to create this just for 2 people? Or we're going to make this at your end of the school year party. I'm going to be doing that in like 2 weeks. And how do I create this for 30 people? And so you can do challenges that way as well. Entrepreneurship simulation. Have children create their own small businesses or entrepreneurships and let them experience real-world scenarios such as budgeting, marketing, hiring, customer service, all kinds of things. In our information-saturated world, we aspire for our children to excel as problem solvers, equipped with analytical and critical thinking skills. By fostering their ability to think critically, we empower them to conquer life's inevitable challenges. This crucial skill set enables them to navigate any hurdle they may encounter, equipping them to thrive in an ever-changing world. The movie quote this week: you have to be able to listen to other voices even if they don't agree with you. They make us stronger, more creative, and more inspired. Poppy, Trolls World Tour. If you are hearing this message, you've listened to the entire episode, and for that, I want to send you a huge thank you. Please leave me a comment or review and share with other moms you know. Get in touch in the comments or on Kara's social media networks. See you next week for a new episode.